Welcome to the channel, where we explore the defining moments that shaped history. Today, we're delving into one of the most pivotal battles of all time, the Battle of Waterloo. What really happened here, and why did it change the course of history? Stay tuned, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more stories from the past. The year is 1815, and Europe is on the brink of change. Napoleon Bonaparte, the once powerful emperor of France, has returned from exile on the island of Elba. His empire is crumbling, and the nations of Europe are on edge. But what no one could have anticipated was the dramatic showdown that would unfold in Belgium, near a small town called Waterloo. After escaping Elba, Napoleon had rallied his forces and aimed to reassert his dominance over Europe. But a coalition of European powers, Britain, Prussia, Russia, and Austria, had already formed to stop him. Waterloo would be the stage for the final confrontation between Napoleon and the combined armies of Europe. The battle began on the morning of June 18, 1815. Napoleon's army, numbering around 73,000 men, faced off against the Allied forces, led by the Duke of Wellington with around 68,000 troops, and the Prussian army under Gebhard Leberic von Blücher, numbering about 500,000. Napoleon, confident in his ability to crush his opponents, made several key strategic decisions that would shape the outcome of the war. Napoleon's first move was to attack the Allied center, aiming to split the British and their allies apart. He hoped to defeat Wellington before the Prussians could arrive to reinforce him. But the Allied forces held their ground, and the battle turned into a brutal back-and-forth fight. As the battle raged on, the French made significant progress, but Napoleon underestimated the speed of the Prussian advance. Around midday, Blücher's Prussian forces began to arrive on the battlefield, attacking the French right flank. This unexpected reinforcement would prove to be the turning point of the battle. Napoleon, already stretched thin, was forced to divert resources to counter the Prussian threat, weakening his position against Wellington's forces. As the French army was pinned between two powerful armies, the tide turned decisively against them. Napoleon launched one last desperate assault, hoping to break through the Allied lines. His elite Imperial Guard, the best of his troops, charged at the British position, but they were met with fierce resistance. The charge failed, and the French forces began to collapse under the combined weight of Wellington's infantry and the Prussian cavalry. By late afternoon, Napoleon's army was in full retreat. The French were routed, and Napoleon was forced to flee the battlefield, marking the end of his reign. The Battle of Waterloo had been a decisive defeat, and Napoleon's empire was shattered once and for all. The consequences of Waterloo were immediate. Napoleon was captured and exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he would spend the last years of his life in isolation. His defeat at Waterloo marked the end of the Napoleonic Wars, and Europe would be reshaped by the political and territorial changes that followed. The Congress of Vienna, held shortly after Waterloo, redrew the map of Europe, establishing a new balance of power that would keep the continent at peace for nearly a century. The defeat of Napoleon also marked the end of French dominance in Europe, as Britain, Austria, Russia, and Prussia became the primary powers. Waterloo was more than just a military defeat. It was the event that reshaped the future of Europe. Had Napoleon won, he could have re-established his empire, potentially altering the course of European politics and global power dynamics. His defeat at Waterloo ended the era of Napoleonic warfare and set the stage for the rise of British dominance in the 19th century. Napoleon's defeat also changed the way wars were fought. The battle demonstrated the importance of coalition warfare and the power of coordinated efforts between different nations. It proved that no single ruler could dominate Europe indefinitely. Thanks for watching this deep dive into one of the most pivotal moments in history. If you enjoyed learning about the Battle of Waterloo and its profound impact, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified about our next historical journey.